Hey guys, we're here today with one of my favorite IG crushes, Gia Casey.
Hello.
And for those of you who don't know, she's one half of the podcast that she does with her husband, the Casey Crew.
Yes.
And today we're gonna kind of just dig into it, talk about some things, and just have a little fun.
Yeah.
Hi,
well,
Gia.
Have a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
Okay.
A lot of fun.
Hi, Janine. Thank you for being here. I appreciate the interview.
No problem. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Wonderful. High on life every day. Try to be.
So, for me, it seems like you and Envy have become like the marriage gurus, right? Everywhere I look and everywhere I go, I'm getting marriage advice from you and your husband.
Really?
Yes.
Really, like in what kind of situations?
I mean, I just listened to the podcast, and then I've seen you guys on a few other interviews, and people ask you about your marriage, and it seems like you guys have gotten it figured out.
Yes. Through a lot of trial and error, through a lot of time, through a lot of struggles, and through a lot of love. So we've come to that point very, very authentically and very honestly. It's not as though we just came up with theories and we were like, oh, well, this sounds good, let's try it out on our life.
Mm-hmm.
We've really gone through a lot to get to the place that we are now.
You didn't just wake up one day, start dating, and it was perfect, obviously.
Never, never. I don't believe that that can happen. I don't believe that.
How long have you been married?
We've been married for 16 years.
Okay.
But we've been together for going on 23 years.
That's a long time.
It's a very long time to be with one person, yes.
So a little birdie in my ear told me that they introduced you guys. Is that true?
Yes, someone that I've learned is very close to you. Her name is Sanjay DeCaras, and I met her in high school before I met my husband. We shared a summer school class, and she was like, oh my gosh, my cousin, it wasn't really her cousin, but they were that close as friends. My cousin would love you, I need to hook you up. And I'm like, girl, I don't got no time for your cousin. I'm fresh meat at this school. You know, all these little boys are trying to holler at me.
Because you were 16.
Yeah, I was 15.
15.
He was 16. So I was a
Oh.
junior and he was a senior. And I was looking forward to this new high school experience because now I was going to a school that was co-ed. A co-ed Catholic school, but the school I was coming from was an all-girls Catholic school. So I was looking forward to being around boys in school at the same time. So when I found out that he had a crush on me, it was like, ooh, I don't know if it's gonna be you, but he was very persistent. And at the tender age of 16, he exhibited a lot of manly ways, and I thought he was a little sexy. I'm like, all right, you know, we can try this out. And thank God I did.
And it worked out, right?
It worked out very nicely.
When you've been together for that long, obviously 23 years, you've seen a transition. He went from Rashawn to DJ Envy, right?
Yeah, well, first he was DJ Shrimp.
Oh.
Yes, before I met him, he was DJ Shrimp because he was very short for his age. And then the year before I met him, he had a growth spurt.
Okay.
And so by the time I came around, he was a foot taller, glasses were off, and the braces were off, and he had contacts, and he was a little cutie.
Do you sometimes find it hard, or did you previously, to separate Rashawn, who you've always known, and then DJ Envy, which is who the world sees?
Never.
Okay.
Because when I met him as Rashawn, and he was DJing Sweet 16s. So, not to say that it wasn't the most impressive thing, but it was a kid with a hobby and a dream.
Okay.
The person that he is today was cultivated from that point. So I've been there every day, every step of the way. So there was it wasn't as though I met DJ Envy
Okay.
and then I had to separate the two personas.
Okay.
But I will tell you that as we did get further along in our relationship and his success grew, he did develop a DJ Envy persona. I just wasn't aware of it.
Okay.
And older women in my life told me, you should go with him to the clubs. You should go with him when he travels. But at that time, I had 2 little kids, and my main focus was being at home with the kids, not going to Vegas to have sexy time with my husband. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want to leave them with somebody. And I found that not having that balance and not sharing in the experiences, sharing in the fun, and concentrating. And I say this with caution because I don't want to be misinterpreted, but you can be a super wife and a super mom.
Yes.
You can be super sexy and super conservative. You can play many different roles.
Which is the concept of total package.
I understand.
Yes.
And at the time, I was so hyper-focused on super mom. Like the kids have to be in swimming, gymnastics, dance, chess club, this, that, the third. every day you're gonna have 3 activities because I'm gonna maximize your time and I'm gonna maximize your learning ability and everything. And I didn't neglect my husband, but I didn't take part in his career. I wasn't there having the fun that he was having. So I think that hurt our relationship in some kind of way without me even knowing it. There were no signs that we were hurting, but later on, the results of me not taking those steps for our marriage did come to pass.
And do you mind elaborating on what type of things kind of were the results from that?
Of course not. We went through a period where divorce was almost imminent because I found out that he had cheated on me.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Okay.
So he was out living this life, and it was kind of like a perfect storm for him. He's a fairly good-looking guy. Actually, I think he's very sexy. And he was at the peak of his career and just learning what it felt like to have success, to have notoriety, to be recognized, to have, and we were comfortable, but then when the success increased, the money increased. So not only are you able to afford your life better, but now your lifestyle is changing. And when you have more money, you look better. You know,
to everyone.
To everyone. And from a standpoint of having more money, that generally looks more attractive, but now you're dressing better. You're in better cars, and that's attractive to a woman. That combined with the fact that we've been together for so long, he was 16 and he was very green. And I don't mean sick. He was very naive, young, immature, but at the forefront, inexperienced. So he didn't know what it felt like. And he was also a turtle, you know? He was just short of a virgin, you know? Like, I think he engaged, but he didn't finish.
So
like right before me.
He never really lived before his relationship with you.
Exactly.
And then while with you, now he's blossomed into this image that people see in persona, and now he's getting more attention from it.
Exactly. So you take all of that, you take the inexperience, and then you put him in a setting that caters to negativity. You're in clubs, you're around thirsty women, you are in strip clubs, you are around celebrities, you are around groupies. Groupies will have sex with the celebrity's friend's driver. Do you know what I mean? Just because they feel that much closer. So you're around all of this thirst, people propping you up, and all those things came together, and it might have even affected his mentality. I didn't see it because when he walked through that door, he was super husband, super father, loving, affectionate, generous, nice, complimentary, everything. For a lot of cheating situations, there are red flags, but in our relationship,
there weren't.
I barely saw any red flags. And I trusted him so much because he was so good to me that I never worried about him cheating or anything. He didn't even seem like he was built for it, you know, because he's nice and he's also sensitive, you know what I mean? So I didn't see it on the horizon. So when I found out, I was extraordinarily blindsided.
You were shocked.
I was shocked. And I always knew, and this was from I was a little kid, even before I met my husband, because I was very black and white. And like my prior mentality, everything was very black and white. Not much gray area in my life. You cheat on me, we're done. Like no conversation, no explanation, no nothing. I wasn't a very tolerant person, but a lot of things happened in that situation that led us down a path where we were able to stay together, and without being too wordy about it, it was God. I feel as though God interjected himself in our lives in a way that was undeniable to me. And at the time I wasn't extremely spiritual, but it even led me down a path where I became spiritual.
Now, going through something like that and realizing that there obviously was a part that you played in it with not making your husband feel, I guess, I don't want to say valued, but obviously something there was lacking. Did you ever feel like you were living in his shadow and you were home with the kids and you were doing all of the motherly things and he was out there being the star?
No, that was never my mentality. I never had aspirations to be a star. Of course, I wanted to do something with my life. I wanted a career. I had aspirations, but I never had a thirst for fame or notoriety or to be seen.
Okay.
So his career was something that I championed. It was something that I supported. It was something I was very proud of him for accomplishing and continuing to grow.
Okay. So you didn't really struggle with then obviously feeling like your place in the home was a problem. You openly accepted being a housewife.
Yes.
A housewife.
Yes.
And you still feel that way.
Yes. But now we're at a point in our lives where we've created a situation where I can be a housewife and I can also have businesses, and we can do other things to grow our success. I can do both. I don't have to choose now. Back then, because you think my oldest is going to be 16 in November.
Okay.
You know, so 15 years ago, let's say, I was a housewife. I'm going to be the best mother because this is my job. I'm not out there earning a living. I'm not bringing home bacon. If this is my job, I'm going to be the best at it. So, you know, I fell into that super mom complex, and I was very happy to do that.
Okay. Do you feel like there are things that you've learned from the infidelity that now you know you would just handle things differently?
Pick a number 1 through 100. I mean, yes, there are many, many things that I've learned. The biggest thing that I've learned is that, in my opinion, and I'm not speaking to other people's beliefs, but for me in my life, God has to be first in your marriage. You, as a human being, in my opinion, I do not believe necessarily in being loyal to another person or having confidence in that person's loyalty to me. I believe in a loyalty to God, because if my husband is loyal to God, if he betrays me, he has bigger fish to fry.
God.
It's a lot stronger than having to worry about me. If he commits himself to his spirituality and to his relationship with God, when I'm not there and I'm not looking, he has to worry about who is and what that implies for him and how that can affect him and his life. Since we've become more spiritual, opportunities, success, blessings, love has been unfolding in our lives in a way that I could have never imagined. We're at a point of happiness that I could have never imagined. Back when I thought that everything was perfect and I felt like my husband put me on a pedestal, even though he was doing dirt, I thought I was happy because on paper I had everything. But now we have those things on paper, but we also have a spirituality. We pray together every night. Before he leaves the house, every time he walks out the door, we say a prayer.
Really?
Yes. So our commitment to God brings us closer together as a couple.
Well said. Wow, whew, that was a hot topic. I think that we deserve a drink.
I agree.
Let's move on over to the bar and
What are
have
you
a
up
little
for?
cocktail
Let's
break.
go.
One of my favorite things to do to kind of wind down and relax at the end of the day is to have like a cocktail with my girlfriends.
You and every other mother across the planet.
Right. So I made you one of our specialty cocktails that we call the Total Package.
All right.
And I want you to try it, so you let me know what you think.
Okay.
And I just kind of wanted to know, like, what do you do to wind down?
Honestly, I sit in my bed with fuzzy pajamas on and a remote.
You watch DVRs?
Yes, I cue up my DVR and I can sense one of the ingredients in here. A little bit of peach.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's our color.
Oh, okay.
It's actually pretty good.
Oh, it's actually really good.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So yeah, you watch DVRs? Or?
Yes, I queue up my DVR and I sit in bed and watch Netflix, Million Dollar Listing, any of my reality shows, or I don't know, sometimes like a documentary or something on ID if I'm not in the house by myself.
Oh, ID. Yeah.
Yes, the ID channel, I could watch it for like 6 hours. If my husband's here, then I'm gonna put on something sexy, and then we're gonna watch Game of Thrones or something else that we share a likeness for. But we do watch a lot of TV together. So that's usually the precursor to like sexy time.
And you usually do this once the kids go to bed, obviously.
I mean, not always. Sometimes, like my older kids will just be like, yo, stay the hell out of our room. You know?
For me, it's difficult because I feel like once the kids finally go to bed and I can finally like have some time to myself, then I have to get everything done that I couldn't do when they were awake. I find a hard time.
Laundry, folding,
Yes.
dishes from dinner, returning emails, returning texts. I know. I try to incorporate that during my day, like if I'm sitting in a doctor's office, or if I can snatch a few moments here or there, I try to handle all of my media or all of my correspondence, emails, things like that. But when I hit the bed with my husband, I'm dead to the world.
You shut it all down.
You can't text me, I'm not looking at an email, nothing. Like that's just me and him time, because that type of time, like we spend time with the kids, we take them on picnics, we take them to the parks, we're there with their activities, recitals, this, that, and the third. We do all of that, but exclusive time with the person that you're with is so vital. So we don't let the outside world in once we hit that bed. And I'm not the biggest drinker unless I'm trying to get drunk, but this I can sip on.
Well, let's take it and move on to the next subject.
Okay, sounds good.
Now, I must say, one of the reasons why you're my IG crush is that your Instagram page is so lit,
Oh,
right?
thank you.
So let's start
Thank
with
you.
30 shoes in 30 days.
Okay.
I can see why.
Well, you know what? Shoes and bags are like my own little personal obsession. So things that we like and that we enjoy, we like to share with people around me. So I feel like I've established a little bit of an IG family. So it's kind of like sharing a little piece of me with them. The hard part is that when you post things like shoes, bags, jewelry, whatever you're into, people seem to assume that that's all that you're about. And it's probably the last thing that I'm about. I'm more about my family, my kids, traveling, things like that. So people may tend to get the wrong impression of you.
Because you're not shallow at all, actually.
No, I can honestly say that I'm not a shallow person.
You're not. You just like nice things.
I like pretty things. I think all girls can relate to liking pretty things. And it may not even have to be pretty. It can be their version of attractive or something that fits their aesthetic. But things that you like, you tend to gravitate to.
With all these shoes, how do you pick 30?
Truthfully, the 30 that I choose aren't necessarily my favorite shoes. They're shoes that for some reason or another I find interesting and that I think that people can relate to. You know, one day it might be a crystal shoe. Another day it might be like an animal print shoe. Another day it might just be a solid patent leather pointy toe. But I like to have a little something for everybody.
So in addition to 30 shoes in 30 days, you also do, is it the 12 days of Christmas?
We do 12 days of Christmas.
That is
yes.
the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
I think so too.
He like sets up,
I feel pretty amazing on the 12th day, so
he
yeah.
sets up like a scavenger hunt.
He sets up something different for each day.
Okay.
And he's done scavenger hunts, he's done surprises, he's hidden things. I've woken up with things under my pillow, but every day the one common denominator is that he writes me a little poem and puts it in a place where I'm going to run into it. So one year, every morning I eat a big bowl of Haagen-Dazs vanilla ice cream covered in
Every morning you eat ice
strawberries.
cream?
It's like my breakfast. Yes, covered in fresh cut strawberries and like a can of Coke.
Okay.
So one morning I go downstairs and the note is taped to the little box of strawberries, you know, and then it gave me directions how I can find my gift for the day. So what it is every day he gets me something, and it doesn't have to be the most extravagant thing. It can be the most simple thing, but it's something that I may have mentioned that he pulls from my personality and says, Gia's going to like this, or it could be a pair of Yeezys. It can be, I mean, it really, really runs the gamut. One of the things that meant a lot to me was one of the gifts was a big gift bag filled with all of my favorite beauty products.
Nice.
So what he had to do was literally rummage through my makeup drawer and call some of my friends to find out what's like hot and poppin'. And then he spent probably like 3 hours in Sephora.
Picking it all out.
Picking things out, and the presentation was really, really nice. And a lot of the things I already had, so it turned into like all of my travel products. So now when we go out of town, I don't have to pack a whole separate bag of makeup that I just put on. Now I got to throw it in the bag. So what he does is very, very thoughtful and considerate. So it's not really the gifts, it's the time, the preparation, the effort that he puts into it that really kind of warms my heart.
It makes it special.
It makes it special,
Yeah.
and that's really what I look forward to. And then he always gets so giddy off of my reaction, so he can't wait to get home because he's never here because he's working. He's on air from 6 to 10 every morning. So when I'm opening it up, he's never here. So he can't wait to get home and be like, "So you like it? I did a good job today. You like it?"
You gotta stroke his ego.
I gotta stroke his ego. I gotta stroke some other things. I gotta to show my gratitude, right? But yeah.
For our viewers that don't know, tell them what your Instagram is so they can see how lit it really is.
Oh, it's Gia_Casey. So it's GIA_CASEY.